London gave us a setup. Now it's all about how we handle New York. Let's break it down, guys. Good morning, it's Jimmy Trades here. Welcome back to the channel. Let's start here on the calendar. Today is Wednesday, the 30th of July. We have non-farm employment change, advanced GDP, and then FOMC in the afternoon. Could be a very good day to sit on your hands today, guys. The market could be quite volatile or stagnant potentially up until this PM news, and up to you completely, but you might want to consider just sitting on your hands. And that could even play out for Thursday and be waiting till after news on Friday. Play by your rules, but be cautious, particularly heading into the markets today. All right, let's have a quick look at the London trade for a bit of a recap. A trade that I would normally take. I didn't grab this one, but it was there for the picking. So as we were coming into the London session, we had price starting to move lower. We had a gap down here. I was looking at to see if price would respect. Price pushed on through that gap. And what we ended up with was an SMT here with ES. So ES swept out the Asia low, and this is where we can look for that opportunity to get into a position. So we'll drop down to the 1 minute. Keeping in mind we've got that SMT, and we'll just play forward here a little bit, because what we're looking for is an inversion, which we get right here. Keeping in mind we're working off that higher time frame SMT, which saw ES sweep out the Asia low. All right, so from here we can look to target an easy 2R, or if you're inclined, you can run your standard deviations from the low to the high of this leg lower, and you can also target, say, the session high here, 2.5, but the session high looks reasonable. So if we play that out, we get our confirmed change in state of delivery here on this candle. We've got a fill. We market ordered in. Once we got that close, and then price ends up after a little bit, finally taking that high. And, you know, not bad. Little 3.2i trade if you took it out to that high. Those relative equal highs up here. So we're using the SMT off the Asia session low with the inversion here. A great little trade there during London. All right, let's clear the chart up. And we'll move over to NQ on the daily. All right, let's head over to the daily chart here on NQ. Well, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. We know that saying. And look at this bullish momentum. We just keep chopping up higher. Have we got the signal here of possibility that price might start to turn around? We have this candle closure. Yesterday's candle closed back inside the range of the previous day's candle. Now, is that signaling a possible reversal? Well, what I want to see is, because we have quite a large wick to the high side, if price does continue to move up, we either respect the equilibrium and we continue to move lower, or we close through and then we'll start to see a leg move higher. That's what I'm watching for today. All-time highs, it's a bit tricky, but that's what I'm looking at. We have this very similar setup to yesterday where we had little to no wick to the downside. I look at that as a devil's mark, which could act as our draw on liquidity. Initially, as price came lower during London, I thought we might seek out previous day low. At the moment, that is the low hanging fruit. and that's where I'd anticipate price to want to draw towards. We have this SMT with ES as well. So yesterday NQ put in the high, whereas ES did not. It put in a lower high. So here we have a daily SMT, and same deal here with ES. I'll be looking at price respecting the equilibrium of the previous day's range and then seeking out previous day low. And we have this bullish gap down here where I could see price coming into and then looking to have that next leg higher. Moving over to CO, we finally pushed out of this range, which is great to see. And we have swept out previous day high. Now, if we have a look at this gap, did we get a close above the EQ? We did. Price did close above that. And will we respect that? So what we want to see now, even though we swept out previous day high, we want to mark out the body of the previous day's candle and look for price to respect the equilibrium, looking to do something like this, or we break through that level and continue lower. So at the moment, we are getting a bit of a reversal here. If we have a look at the 4 hour, we are into a 4 hour bullish gap. So we could see price move higher from here, but as we move down the time frames, we can see change in state of delivery here. We got a sweep of the high, only just. And then we've closed through this level with displacement. Same with the 90 minute and 30 minute. And if we keep going, it's the same deal. And if we were to run, the 30 minute looks pretty clean. If we ran our standard deviations from the high, body high to the body low here, we can see that we do have this target area. We've got low resistance liquidity down here as well, and these equal lows or relative equal lows. So there is a case here for price to run lower, and we wanted to see this range manipulated, this daily range manipulated before looking to engage. At least that's how I'm approaching it. So there is now opportunity to trade back into the range here. Having a look at gold here on the daily. Inside bar yesterday. Looks like, low hanging fruit, previous day high. So if we sweep that out, we could still see price move lower here. We still have this engineered liquidity, this low resistance liquidity through here for price to want to seek out. And we aren't really getting a move through this imbalance here. Dixie holding up around this high. We've closed above previous day high, so utilizing that information, we've had an open low on today's candle so far. I'd be anticipating previous day high to be swept and then looking for this high. And if we move across, we can see we have essentially smooth edges here. And our euro is inversely correlated, which means if Dixie's going higher, euro is usually going lower. We have this change in state of delivery here with displacement on the daily. I can anticipate from that with a decisive close lower yesterday, that price will likely seek out previous day low. We can see we've already had an open high. Will we move lower to an open high, low close daily candle? Looking for this level here as our draw, which is also into a daily gap. which we just missed out on. You know what? We might have just tapped into that. If we get that drawn out there correctly, we did just tap into that. But at the moment, we are respecting the previous day's equilibrium. So looking for price to move lower. Slightly different story here with the pound. Although we did see this closure, which is nice. If price respects this opposing candle, then we can look to see price move lower, even though we did have this somewhat insight to order flow, where generally when we get that C2 candle, that closure back inside the previous day's range, which it just did, we can look to anticipate expansion off of that. But we have a bit of a fight on our hands here, a bit of a battle. We've got this opposing candle run, and we also have this bearish daily FEG, and price has already swept out previous day high. So we can anticipate price to want to move lower from there. Heading over to crypto now. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. So we swept out some lows. We've got a closure back inside the range. We are just in a little bit of consolidation here, even though we had this move out of this bullish FEG, which I like, and that is still being supported. So I'm anticipating or still looking for these highs to be swept out. Ethereum had a little bit of a pullback, and that's okay. We've had a pretty good run with Ethereum at the moment. So candle swept the range, swept out a couple of the previous day lows, and closed back inside the range, anticipating price to run higher and look out for this this target area to be swept out. It might not be until the weekend at this rate, but we'll see how we go. Okay, guys, I'll wrap it up there. Be sure to also grab your Tradeify evals. Tradeify's got an amazing deal, pretty much 50% off on their straight to sim funded at the moment. You can use code JimmyTrades for that. And Apex have finished their 90% off sale, but you will always get 50% off regardless when you use code Jimmy. And if you want to get really analytical with your trading, be sure to grab a Tradezella subscription with code JimmyTrades. Will get you 20% off a lifetime, 20% off a yearly subscription there. All right, guys, take care. Have a fantastic Wednesday. Be safe. See you in Trade Foundry. Bye for now.